Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Celebrity Challenge, and today we have The Mission. This is a documentary from National Geographic, and I gotta do this quick because, honestly, I'm in the last hour of the day. I've been running really late on a lot of stuff. Uh, The Mission, a documentary, National Geographic. It's about missionary John Chow. He's a young man. I don't know which year this happened. This documentary is from 2023. It's an hour and 45 minutes long, but it's fairly recent. This is a kid who grew up in a Christian home and passionately lived and believed his faith. It's from what I've seen of how he's depicted here, that's not in question at all. And it is really easy for somebody to maybe just make judgments once they hear the concept of the story behind it, or they remember the news report of the young man who decided to sneak off to the last remote, untouched, small civilization on a remote island called called the Sentinel Islands, the Sentinelese people, and come in contact with them in order to evangelize them, in order to spread the gospel to these people. Without knowing their language, no one fully understands it. There are other peoples from that collection of islands that, yeah, in the past have come in contact with human beings and quickly started dying off. And other horrible things started happening. And they go over that to a certain degree in this. This doesn't focus just on John, but he is the sort of the impetus of this entire thing that asks some important questions. Not just about faith and our responsibility as a world community to let things be as they are. Maybe it would benefit them to know the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm not about to start getting into into discussions of religion and politics or lay judgment. And like I said, it's really easy to make a knee-jerk reaction and go, ugh, depending on who you are, what you believe about what this is all about. This is pretty balanced in how it depicts John's faith, his mission, and also just the reasoning behind all of it. There's both sides. And it has to be that way because this is a documentary. It's not necessarily, it's giving information and facts. And yeah, it depicts, it depicts a young man in the prime of his life choosing to give it all away to do this one remarkable thing, if it worked, to change the lives of people by converting them to Christianity. Yeah. They killed him in the end. That's not a spoiler. That is what happened. It was all over the news a number of years ago. He would often update things on his social media accounts from beyond the moment he graduated high school from a small Christian high school, going to Oral Roberts University, and being really involved in his church and other just nature activities as well to prepare him to survive in some maybe harsh climates, maybe for extended times, as he changes the lives of these people through the Word of God. He's prepared. He's passionate. I admire him, honestly, regardless of whether we agree on certain things religion-wise. He had a plan. That kid liked to make lists, and I call him a kid just because he is young. He was young. He's too young to have died before this. Not that there's any great age to die for a lost cause. He had it all planned out, all mapped out. He knew what he wanted. And he wrote down every detail. He made lists within lists and mission statements and paragraph after paragraph. I do that myself, and for everything I want to do. And part of that it got me to Tokyo a couple weeks ago. So, it's kind of great. Sure, maybe Tokyo is not as lofty as converting an entire people to a new religion, but, well, I'm, for knock on wood, I am still alive. And both of us, I think, knew what the consequences were of doing such a thing. Me, maybe I'd get on the wrong train, or my plane could have crashed, or something. He knew that these people weren't exactly friendly, and they could kill him for speaking a single word they didn't understand, holding a Bible aloft. And so, yeah, you might have opinions one way or the other, or any number of opinions on any number of things, but it's really important, if you do care about how this subject matter is handled, whether you knew him just through other people, or were close to him, or just heard about it on the news. And yes, they do include, after this happened, they do include at the end some of the memes that were created, which are astoundingly cruel. Some of the memes, not to be funny, but to show that there were real people who were affected by this, not just John. I mean, they were affected by his death, but it was a real human kid, not a character in a movie. He, how do I put this? He's not the only thing in this film. They don't look at it just as, here's a biography of a kid who got killed by trying to save people on the other side of the planet, and often broke the law in a number of ways, sneaking around, creating contingency plans, doing all these sorts of elaborate planning in order to get him to the shore of this island to get the job done. And along the way, we get to see people who have been in his position before, proselytizing, working with the people, learning their language, who were successful in making landfall on that on the remote island, and talking to the people, living with the people, discussing God and Christ with the people, and in an effort to convert them. Missionaries, a man, his wife, his 3 kids went to the other side of the planet, to a remote area, to save people's souls. And we get to talk to that guy. He had done that decades before. We talked to other people who were close friends with him, best friends with him, people who worked with him, people who knew him through church, his church, and other mission works. And there's a number of people who, on the down low, helped him out with his mission. And a lot of people aren't exactly going to come forward about that, but I imagine there's a certain level of guilt about that. It comes through. Oh, we also get to hear from his father. So John Chow is half Chinese, half Caucasian American. So he's born in America and lived his life, grew up, loved church, loved God, and he lived the life that I am very familiar with. I grew up in it myself. I'm not going to go into my whole situation, but I grew up with it myself. And when I see this footage of church or camps or skits or doing whatever stuff you do in youth group or in church, I had flashbacks. Because so much of it is so familiar in evangelical, fundamental Christianity. His dad, though, an older man who has done so much to raise 3 kids along with his wife, tried to talk John out of it. He was not supportive, and you get that story through a number of. I'm pretty sure an actor is performing his parts, just speaking, just reading things he's written. And we also get to hear from John, not just in real video footage collected from his time in church and missions trips and things like that, from like real footage of the kid. I know he's not a kid, but real footage of John that's collected over the years, and real tweets or real Facebook posts or whatever things like that are intermixed in there with with a good chunk of animation, like just some compelling, while simple, really artistic and just painterly, I guess, type of animation throughout that tells us the parts of the story that cannot be depicted in real video footage, and it's less cheesy than, say, getting actors to perform these roles in with stiff dialogue or whatever. They use real excerpts from his diary, talking about, which was, by the way, recovered from the site, from the boat in which had brought him to the island. His diary was used in this. His father's words have been used in this, and his father warned him against getting into extreme fundamental Christianity. As much as his father raised him in that faith, John was a little on the edge with some of this stuff. I don't doubt his faith. I think he meant the best for everything. But the big debate is, what do you do? Is this something we should be doing? Is this something Christians should be doing? When it comes to who's responsible for bringing these cultures together or keeping them apart in order to maintain the betterment of everyone involved or not involved as a result. So we get all sides of this. We get former missionaries. We get friends, close family. We get people who know the history of dealing with things like this, that it's not in any small way. Let me not double negative that. It has been often, the mission work has often been tied closely with, imperialistic tendencies, the need, I guess, to overtake an entire people's culture, not just modernize them in our ways, in our culture, but to change who they are. We've done this in America with the Native Americans, and changed their names, took their children, and while they didn't tell the people on the Sentinel Islands all this, a lot of the reasons that people have to guess, because they don't speak their language and they are cut off from the rest of the world, they've seen the white man. They've seen other people come to their land. And when they do, they've heard it probably from other cultures who just either disappeared or have seen a large amount of their people die through diseases that are spread that they're not vaccinated from. They are not immune to. Viruses and things like that, they have never had any protection from. So somebody just walks in there in the 1900s, the 1800s, the 1700s, whatever it is, and start shaking hands and handing them coconuts. Guess what? Somebody gets a cold, and it utterly devastates them. And at the time also, when we didn't even have vaccinations or any kind of medicines that would really help ourselves, much less people who are not set up physically to have any kind of immunity to these diseases. So when you show up on the island and start holding a Bible up and speaking gibberish because they don't know what you're saying, it might be the best English in the world, but guess what? They still don't know what you're doing. The kid takes a shot at your Bible, you get back in the boat. And you stay there. And you go home. Unfortunately, John did not do that. So I highly recommend, if this is a story that makes you curious and you want to see behind the headlines that were given at the time, this is worth checking out. If whether you're a person of faith or not, whether you're a missionary or not. And I don't think it'll be so easy for you to just mock him and another Christian doing something dumb. Well, May not have been the best move, but I think his intentions were good, even if they may not have been necessary. You have to understand the motivations behind a number of fundamental Christians as to why they do these things. And that is, to a degree, covered in this. So check it out, talk about it, think about it, and yeah, you might find something. I didn't know what to expect for this. I've had seen it on here for a little while, and I was like, okay, this might be a tough one, and it was. So let's move on to something maybe, hopefully, a little bit lighter tomorrow. 55. Oh, I have a feeling I know what this is. Come on. Oh, no, I don't. All right, 55. Real easy one. This is very Disney. It's also a documentary. Yeah. It says Epcot becoming, behind the transformation, right? Inside the transformation. Epcot becoming inside the transformation is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.